From the depths of the vault, this is Eerie's Vault Live, your number one stream for the uncanny, the weird, and the unexplained. Good evening to everybody and Happy New Year as well, wherever you are in the solar system, cosmos, multiverse. It's the new year somewhere, right? Happy New Year and good evening to you all. This is Eerie's Vault Live and I am your host, Lehan Eerie. We will, of course, open up the phone lines in about half an hour's time. So if you want to be on the show, I'll tell you how to do that at that point. But first, let's begin with a shout out to my patrons, shall we? We have Baroque Lobster, Buster Piles, Todd Van Voris, Stedbot, Farson's Finest, John Douglas, Greg Russell, Gaynor Smith, E.J. Osborne, Emu Cat, Ramona Craighill, Ian Lewis, Pamela Peffer, Andrew Dewey, Keith Say, Pill Collins, Rudolph Hooker, Ryan, John Diver, Mr. A, Craig McClellan, Zach T, Adam Mitchell, Sawboss Gregory, Amanda McNeil, Natalie Leach, Catman, Chris Slee, Heather Maund Jones, Melv, Aaron Osborne, Ginger Ninja, Ben Hurl, Vincent Hegeland, Iron Bug, Paul Redruth, Bizdjish 143, Jerry Shelton, Brian Henderson, Stu Graham, David Morris, Darren Jump, Henry, Louise Matthews, Johnny A, and Harry Webb 46. Wow, what a huge list of patrons that's becoming. It really is. Thank you all for your unwavering support of the vault. And don't forget, people out there, if you're interested in joining the Patreon, there is a free version as well, if you want to. So there we go. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm very glad to be back with you guys today. 2026. 2026. Those of you who are about my age or older, goodness me, doesn't 2026 sound futuristic, really? 1999 sounded futuristic, actually. And feels like it was not that long ago, but it was. It was 20-some years ago. And we're in a new era. It is the year of the horse, for any Japanophiles out there. So the year of the horse this year, with the year of the snake having been last year. So if you want to gallop away and, you know, be a fast-moving force in the world, this is the year to do it, apparently. Who have we got in the chat? Let's take a look. We've got Theme Queen UK, Happy New Year. Theme Queen, welcome to the show. Carol Mason, 48, Happy New Year to you, welcome. Catonius says Happy New Year and all that. Yes, we mustn't forget and all that, must we? Welcome, Catonius. Purple Pipkin, a spooky 26 to you all. Welcome, Purple Pipkin, to the show. Aching Plums is with us. Happy New Year, Vault Dwellers. Yes, indeed, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone, says James Glass. Salute. Yes. The 2nd of January, goodness me. Buster's with us. Happy New Year, people. Happy New Year, Buster. Cat's Life. Hi, Cats Live. Happy New Year to you too. Stephen, Truth Seeker, is with us. Hello, Stephen. Welcome to the show. And have we got anybody else? I don't like to miss people out. Darren Jump. Hello, Darren. Welcome. James, Darren. Blank Space, 1984. Well, Happy New Year to you, Blank Space. Happy New Year to all, in fact. Yes. 2026, eh? Goodness me. How about a bit of eerie news? According to Science Daily, which is your source for the latest research news apparently, a planet just vanished. NASA's Hubble reveals a violent cosmic secret, apparently. Astronomers tracking a nearby star system thought they had spotted an exoplanet reflecting light from its star. Then it vanished. Even stranger, another bright object appeared nearby. After studying years of Hubble Space Telescope data, scientists realized they were not seeing planets at all, but the glowing debris left behind by two massive collisions between asteroid-sized bodies. Astronomers using the Hubble Space Telescope witnessed the surprising aftermath of massive space rocks smashing into each other in a nearby planetary system. What initially looked like a reflective exoplanet turned out to be something far more dramatic. The international research team, which included Northwestern University astrophysicist Jason Wang, realized they were not seeing planets at all. Instead, the light came from glowing clouds of debris. It reveals two separate and powerful impacts that produced expanding clouds of dust within the same planetary system. Catching these events in real time gives scientists a rare window into how planets form and what kind of materials come together to build new worlds. Spotting a new light source in the dust belt around a star was surprising, he said. We did not expect that at all. Our primary hypothesis is that we saw two collisions of planetesimals, small rocky objects like asteroids, over the last 2 decades. Collisions of planetesimals are extremely rare events, and this marks the first time we have seen one outside of our solar system. Wang specializes in imaging exoplanets and is assistant professor of physics and astronomy at Northwestern's Weinberg College of Arts and Sciences, as well as a member of the Center of Interdisciplinary Exploration and Research in Astrophysics. Goodness me. This collision occurred in the planetary system surrounding the star Fomalhaut, located about 25 light-years from Earth, in the Pisces Austrinus constellation. Fomalhaut is larger than the Sun and surrounded by an extensive and complex set of dusty debris belts. For years, astronomers have debated the nature of a bright object known as Fomalhaut B, first reported in 2008, just outside the star's main dust belt. Some researchers thought it was a planet, whilst others suspected it was, in fact, spreading clouds of dust from a collision. So there you go. Dust in space. Now, I thought that was a different article, actually, which I seem to have clicked off of. So here's the one I had intended to read to you. Time runs faster on Mars, and scientists just proved it. So thanks to Einstein's relativity, time flows differently on Mars than on Earth. NIST scientists, that's the National Institute of Standards and Technology, have now nailed down the difference, showing that Mars' clock ticks slightly faster and fluctuate over the Martian year. These microsecond shifts could play a big role in future Mars navigation, communications, and even a solar system-wide internet. What a dangerous concept. It's a small time gap with big consequences for space exploration. Our planet relies on sophisticated global systems that combines atomic clocks and GPS satellites and ultra-fast communication networks to keep everything in sync. That precision does not extend naturally beyond Earth. Einstein showed that time does not move at the same pace everywhere in the universe. The rate at which a clock ticks depends on gravity, meaning clocks run slightly slower in stronger gravity and faster in weaker gravity. Even coordinating time across Earth is complex. Extending that coordination across the solar system is far more challenging. For future explorers hoping to live and work on Mars, one fundamental question must be answered first. What time is it on Mars? Physicists produced a precise answer here. Their calculations show that on average, clocks on Mars tick 472 microseconds, that's millionths of a second, faster per day than clocks on Earth. That difference is not constant because of Mars's stretched orbit and gravitational influences from other bodies. The time difference can vary by as much as 226 microseconds per day throughout the Martian year. Understanding how time passes on Mars is essential for future missions. As NASA prepares for more advanced Mars exploration, accurate timing will be critical for navigation, communication, and coordination across planetary distances. The time is just right for the Moon and Mars, said one scientist. This is the closest we have been to realizing the science fiction vision of expanding across the solar system. A single Martian day lasts about 40 minutes longer than an Earth day, and a Martian year stretches 687 Earth days, compared with our 365. Beyond those obvious differences, scientists need to determine whether each second on Mars passes at the same rate as it does on Earth. An atomic clock placed on the surface of Mars would function normally. The clock itself would tick just as it does on Earth. The problem appears when that Mars clock is compared with the one on Earth, and over time there is drift. The calculation for the offset proved more complicated than expected. According to the theory of relativity, gravity alters the flow of time. Clocks slow down in stronger gravity and speed up where gravity is weaker. A planet's motion through space, however, also affects how the time passes. Well, it sounds incredibly complicated for me, but such tiny differences matter greatly in modern technology. For example, 5G communication systems require timing accuracy within 1/10 of a microsecond. Today, messages sent between Earth and Mars take anywhere from 4 to 24 minutes to arrive, and sometimes even longer. Compare the situation to communication before telegraphs, when handwritten letters crossed oceans by ships and replies took weeks or months to return. Developing a reliable framework for timekeeping between planets could eventually allow for synchronized communication networks across the entire solar system. Is that a good idea? Really? Is it a good idea? I'm not sure. I'm clicking on another tab here, which is refusing to load, and my browser has frozen. So I can't read you the next piece, unfortunately. Pigs in space, says Buster. Yes, indeed. Pigs in space. I haven't seen that for a very long time. What is this? So China and their record-breaking hypergravity machine compresses space time from centuries to days. You can imagine why that caught my eye, can't you? China has broken its own record in hypergravity research after completing in construction of its multi-ton centrifuge that can compress space and time. Chief 1900, built by Shanghai Electric Nuclear Power Group, is the newest hypergravity machine that surpasses the previous iteration, Chief 1300, which came online only in September of 2025. I nearly said this year then. Hypergravity research aims to understand the impact of gravitational forces stronger than those on Earth on materials and structures that we can create, and things such as plant and animal cells. That's what these centrifuges are for. It puts things like, hypergravity is measured in units of g-tons, where g is the gravitational acceleration and tons is the mass being spun in the centrifuge. It's basically an enormous washing machine, I think. Whereas a washing machine puts clothes under intense gravitational force with centrifugal motion. However, the maximum hypergravity experienced in a spin dryer is apparently no more than 2 g-tons. In comparison, Chief 1900 simulates hypergravity of 1900 g-tons, you might have guessed. Goodness me. The Chief laboratory sits nearly 50 feet below the Zhejiang University campus to minimize vibrations during the operation. It also, of course, wants to understand hypergravity for instances when humans might travel into space. It allows us to simulate real-world conditions in smaller and more controlled situations. It allows lab-based studies to investigate phenomena spanning decades or extending over kilometers. This team has developed vacuum-based temperature control systems that use a mix of coolant and air ventilation to dissipate the immense heat that this system generates. Goodness me, 1900 g-tons. I'm glad they added the frame of reference of a washing machine there, or rather a spin dryer. That was a good move on that article. Well done. 3 supermassive black holes have been spotted, according to newscientist.com, merging into one. Yes, 3 galaxies with supermassive black holes at their centres appear to be in the process of merging into a single giant galaxy, a process that astronomers have rarely seen. To grow to such enormous sizes, astronomers think supermassive black holes must occasionally devour or merge with other massive black holes during collision between galaxies. This process is difficult to spot because these mergers are short-lived compared with the lifetime of a black hole, and because the black holes can only be seen if they are giving off light from actively feeding on material, which is also rare. Goodness me. So a supermassive black hole times 3. Isn't it crazy to think that here we are, you know, in our, well, here in my studio, or you, wherever you might be, in your living room, in your bedroom, in your kitchen, in the car, wherever you are, pottering around, doing what we do on our individual human levels. And all this intense and crazy celestial stuff is happening all the time. Just above us and around us and among us. It's craziness. I watched a video on YouTube the other day. Oh gosh, I'm going to forget what all this was. It was about our own intergalactic probes, such as Voyager, etc. And it showed the path they were taking, but it showed it on a heliocentric basis, which of course is things revolving around the sun, our solar system. It showed that, you know, where it pings off Mars, I think, to get gravity, and then again to Saturn, I think it was, to get another gravitational boost, and then off it goes into intergalactic space. But then it overlaid the heliocentric view on top of a galactocentric view, which showed not only the movement of the planets around the sun, but also the movement of the sun and our system through the galaxy. And it blows your mind to think on these immense scales. It just blows your mind sometimes to think, you know, goodness me, here I sit, you know, surrounded by all my notes on the walls that I pin up to remind me to do things, you know, and all of my things that I have to do. And then all that is happening out there, and we are hurtling through the galaxy whilst revolving around our star. And goodness me, isn't it just immense to think about? Large thoughts. Let's call them large thoughts. Excuse me. The grumbly. Who else have we got today? Got a grumbly voice today. Let's check the chat in case we've had any new. Dingley Dell, hello there, Dingley Dell. Welcome and Happy New Year to you. Welcome to the stream. You know I don't like to miss people. William Kane Gateshead, hello William, and welcome, and a Happy New Year to you as well. What New Year's traditions do you guys have, if any? Do you have any New Year's traditions? I know that I believe a Spanish tradition is to eat 12 grapes at New Year, where each grape is indicative of the coming 12 months of the following year. I think that's something. Noodles are eaten in Japan, crossing into the New Year noodles. I think it's soba actually that gets eaten in the New Year in Japan. What other New Year traditions do we have? Not resolutions. I believe that, I believe segregating your life into now it's 2026 and things are different than they were the day before, which was 2025, is it's not the way I do things. I see my span of time here on Earth as a much more cohesive and sort of interlocked block of time rather than splitting it into years. Calendar wise, of course I do. I have a year planner on the wall. It says 2026 on it, but I'm always planning forward. I'm always looking ahead. So I don't mean resolutions, I mean traditions. Do you have any interesting traditions? That's something we could talk about tonight on the show when we open up the phone lines, of course. Jan, hello Jan, welcome. Welcome to the show and Happy New Year to you as well. Let's just make sure I haven't missed anybody else. I don't know if you can hear my clicky mouse in the background, but it's very noisy. I've run out of batteries in my other one. Sugar Sandwich. Hello, Sugar Sandwich. Welcome and Happy New Year to you. Welcome to the show. This is how it always goes. First half hour is normally a bit of, me giving you the Eerie news and just saying hello to everybody and catching up. And then we open up the phone lines after the 9:30 break. And hopefully we get lots and lots of calls from people. And just in case we haven't any calls, I've got some emails from people to read out. And also some interesting New Year's cases. Did you know the Kelly Hopkinsville Goblins case happened on New Year's Day? So we'll have a little look at that and a couple of other things as well. Just looking through the chat to make sure I haven't missed anyone else. I believe I have everybody there. Okay. So yes, what sort of traditions do you have or are you aware of? I'm sure there must be some very good ones. Purple Pipkin says, traditions here, clean the house. I must admit, my wife and I cleared the house from top to bottom on New Year's Eve. So it was just nice and done for the new year, yeah. First footing over the threshold is bringing in a lump of coal. Oh, I haven't heard that one before, but I have heard of this, opening all the windows to let the new year in. That's a good one. I didn't know about the coal thing. That's interesting. Yes, we did a well, it's not a spring clean, is it? When does spring begin? March sometime. We did a New Year's clean. I'm very glad that we did it. Don't wash your clothes on the New Year's Day, says Cat's Life. It washes the luck out of the year. I've never heard that one. Never heard that one. That's amazing. I love it. Traditional testing of the slow gin. Hello, Andrea. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Happy New Year to you. Testing of the slow gin. Yes. What's this? Who have we met? Who are people meeting? Oh, William Shatner. He's at Comic-Con in Liverpool this year. There you go. Anybody wants to meet Captain Kirk? That's when to do it. A lump of coal and a glass of sherry was common, says Dingley Dell. There you go. I'm trying to think of any others that I know in particular. I always seem to just slide into Christmas and the New Year, and I blink and it's over. You know, throwing out an old piece of crockery, says Blazing Air 2B. Hi there, welcome and Happy New Year to you as well. Throwing out a piece of crockery. There you go, that's another one there. I wonder where all these things come from. Hello, Johnny, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Yes. Superstitions, of course, is another thing, isn't it? Some of these sort of cross into that area, don't they? My grandma was very superstitious indeed, to the degree that if she put her jumper on inside out, she wouldn't turn it the right way around for the rest of the day, because that was bad luck, you see. It was bad luck. So superstition is another amazing topic, isn't it? And it's another thing we can talk about tonight. But yes, let's give you the gist of what tonight is about for the new people. And I'm just desperately trying to find the button. Here it is. To take part in tonight's show, there are a number of options. You can send a message on WhatsApp, giving a brief outline of what it is you want to discuss, and then wait for my call back. Alternatively, for UK residents, you can call direct on 0141 673 3743 to join the call queue and get through to the live show. And for listeners in the US, you can also call on 929 673 3743. That's 929 Mr. Eerie. That's a New York City number. And if you're too shy to call, then you can always email eeriesvault@gmail.com with your story or your theory, whatever it is you want to talk about, and I can read it out for you on air and state. Remember, this is your show, and I am waiting for your call. Strange encounters, theories about the paranormal, questions about some of the cases I've covered on the channel, whatever it is, as long as it's weird, I want to hear it. Call now to be on Eerie's Vault Live. This is Eerie's Vault Live, and I am your host, Leon Eerie, and this is your number one stream for the weird, the strange, and the unexplained. The unexplained indeed. We've got some other things here. Mum used to say the first person through the door on New Year should have dark hair. I wonder where these people, where these traditions come from. And they odd. I mean, odd as in interesting. When I say something is odd, I mean it's interesting to me. It piques my interest. Mad Axeman, welcome. Welcome to the show and Happy New Year. Yes, the lines are open. As we speak, and of course here's the rules of the road for you. So if you want to be on the show, the numbers to call are on screen right now and will remain so through the night, as well as the email address if you would rather email that than call in if you're a bit shy. What are we sharing? Well, we're sharing things that have happened to you. You might have seen a ghost, you might have seen a UFO, you might have experienced something that you cannot explain, and that is something we would like to hear from you about. What else might it be? You might have a story that happened to somebody else. By all means, share it with us. We're very interested. We're not judgmental here in the vault. We're genuinely interested in people's stories. If it helps, you can write it down first and then just read it to me on the phone, however you want to do it. What else might it be? You might just have an opinion on a specific case or something you've seen in the news about the weird. We don't want to get political on this show, so we don't want to talk politics. We don't want any bad language if you can help it. But I don't know, you might have seen News Nation with Ross Coulthart, and you might have something to say about something you've seen there. You might have seen one of my videos, and you might have something to say about one of those. So you can also call in about that. You can ring in with your superstitions. Let's talk superstitions tonight. That's a good one. If you've got any cool superstitions that we want to hear, tell us all about them by all means, and any New Year traditions that you are aware of, you can tell us about those. So it's fairly open, within a nicely controlled bandwidth of if it's eerie, if it's Eerie's vault weirdness, if it's high strangeness, if it's aliens, ghosts, monsters, cryptids, time slips, interdimensional things, weird dreams, strange experiences, psychic stuff. If it's all that, by all means call in. Or if you don't have any of that, let's hear about your superstitions and your New Year's traditions. For people in the UK, it's 0141 673 3743. That's 0141 673 3743. That's for people in the UK to call. If you're in the US, and we do get viewers in from the US, then this is 929 673 3743. 929 673 3743. That's 929 Mr. Eerie, by the way. I thought that was very clever. And if you're outside of New York City but still in America, then of course that's 929 Mr. Eerie. And if you are outside of the UK and America, if you're somewhere else like Australia or Papua New Guinea or Africa or India or New Zealand or Japan or China or wherever you happen to be, then you can use WhatsApp, which is 07903 775 899. That's all the numbers. They're on the screen for you as well right now. Now, I left the new year with a couple of emails that I had received and had not read, so I shall begin to read those out right now. This is from Elaine. Okay, so Elaine sent me this quite some time ago. I'm sorry I've kept you waiting, Elaine, but here we are. Elaine writes, this incident happened in the summer of 1976. You may use this location. I'll give you the exact location. Okay, I won't read out exact locations, but it's in Illinois. Okay. On this summer's night, my fiancé and I were parked in the parking lot of the training centre for Freeman United Coal Company, or something. Perhaps you could just say parked near a coal mine. Oh, okay. As a matter of fact, this is difficult to read out. My friend lived directly across the road from this company where we were parked. I was leaning against the passenger door and he was leaning against the driver's door. We were facing each other. I had a clear view of the side of my friend's house. We weren't more than 50 feet from the edge of this fairly small side yard, if it was even that fair. We were sitting there talking away when an honest-to-goodness UFO drifted into my field of vision. It was going over the top of our house. At this time, we had TV antennas on top of the houses, and it was passing just feet over the antenna. When I say drifting, that's exactly what I mean. It was moving very slow. This was your typical saucer shape. It wasn't really large, no bigger than the roof of the house. It just glowed. No flashing or coloured lights. It was like it was just a bright, glowing saucer. Later on we realised that although it was bright and glowing, it cast no light onto the house or ground. It made no sound whatsoever. When I saw it, it scared me so much that I couldn't speak. I just pointed and made sounds. My fiancé turned round to see what I was pointing at, and when I saw it, his response was to say, "Oh my God." He drew the phrase out slowly, as I've indicated here. When he saw it, his response was to say, "Oh my God." We watched stunned as it calmly drifted across her front yard. Crossed over the road in front of her house that bisected the road that ran beside us, and then drifted over the corner of the woods that's across the road in front of the house. Then I guess it decided to follow the road, because this UFO drifted out above the middle of the road that we were sitting beside. By this time, my fiancé had gotten over his initial shock, and he said, "Let's follow it." I snapped out of my shock and literally screamed, "No!" Anyway, he fired up the car and took off after it. I was terrified. I knew we were following it because it knew we were following it because it sped up, rather. We ended up going 60 miles an hour, and it was ahead of us. This was a narrow country road full of potholes, and we were probably lucky we didn't get killed flying down this road. I guess the UFO got tired of being followed. I don't know how to describe this other than to say it went into Mach speed. It was like watching an episode of a sci-fi film when a spaceship suddenly jumps into a Mach speed and you see the blur behind it. That's exactly what this did. It totally disappeared. We drove all over looking for it, but never saw it again. I've thought about being hypnotized and asked to recall this sighting, hoping to remember more details I may have missed, but I would probably have a heart attack if I was asked to recall this sighting. When I first saw it, particularly preparing to go right over the top of the house. That whole summer we observed groups of individual lights in the sky moving quickly, stopping, reversing, etc. If you choose to read this, feel free to edit, etc., etc. Thank you, Elaine. Excuse me. Thank you, Elaine, for that. I hope I didn't butcher that too much for you. A glowing UFO, no lights. That's unusual. A glowing UFO hovering over the house, not much bigger than the roof of the house, and then the unbelievable decision to follow it in a car. I commend the bravery of your fiancé, I do, but I would have been more on your side with screaming no thank you in that instance. Strangely enough, we over on the Patreon, I've just posted a couple of shots of an experiment that was done, because I've often wondered, what is it about UFO? And that didn't happen in Elaine's story. This is just sort of, connecting, free association, right? So the fact of, or the supposition of, car engines, being combustion engines, of course, being affected by UFOs nearby. UFOs nearby. I often think, well, why would, magnetic or electrical fields affect vehicles like that? And it turns out there was an experiment done on it. I forget where I got it from now. It's up on the Patreon. For all tiers of people can see it, even if you're a free user, you can see that. The results of an experiment that was done on a car to see if it was affected by the proximity of electromagnetic fields. And from memory, yes, it was, which surprised me. So yes, that's up on the Patreon if you want to see that for yourself. So Elaine, thank you very much for that one. Again, I hope I didn't butcher that too badly. I'm normally not too bad at reading stuff out, but you know how it is, don't you? What's this one? Lancashire, this one says. Okay, so this is from James, who says he has a semi-weird English surname that people struggle to spell or get it rudely wrong. So with having a weirdish surname, the next few incidents are especially weird. I haven't put my surname, and my first name has been changed because I'm shy. That's quite all right, don't worry. Number 1. At school, a friend's oldest brother who used to not be friendly towards me said in a break between classes, "We just met someone with the same name as you." And I thought sarcastically, "Yes, right, of course you did." They just kept saying, "We did meet him," and this meeting of a person with the same name as me would have just been next to my classroom, just a few feet away. Number 2, 2 girls rang our house phone and said, "Is James there?" I answered and they said, "Is it James that goes to such and such a high school?" I said, "I'm sorry, I don't go to that high school," but the weirdish surname was the only one in the phone book that was in the same area. Number 3, a good few years later, whilst registering at college, for a second time, the receptionist said, "Which one are you?" I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "The 77 or the 79 one?" I replied, "79, what do you mean 77? She said, "There is one here from 77. And after a few more polite questioning exchanges, I left. She wasn't allowed to share personal details. So James is sharing with us here that there is a person who has the exact same name as him, that has been in the exact same area as him, within 10 feet through a classroom wall, and also intersecting his life via phone calls and college applications, and he has never met him or his family once, and the small family didn't even realize there was another family in our town or near our town with that name." That's what we call synchronicity, isn't it? Don't you think? Doppelganger family living right next door. Can you imagine? It's a bit odd, don't you think? A little bit odd, especially, and he hasn't given his surname, obviously, for personal reasons. But if it's a very unusual surname, it's not like being called John Smith. This is what James is trying to get across. Like if you were called Felonious Hopkinson Smythe Willington, and then you went to the local co-op, and the name badge on the person behind the counter also said Felonious Hopkins Smythe Willington, then that would be synchronicity, wouldn't it? Or is it coincidence? Discuss, ladies and gents. Discuss. Yes. And HB, I don't know if HB's on. I shall reply to this anyway. I shall reply to it. But HB has given me a link to a video on, Hammerson Peter's channel. Now, I do like that channel, I have to say. It's a mine of viewers' sightings of the Fae, aka the good folk. I'm also recommending you watch a couple of other channels. I will, HB. Thank you very much indeed. I know I'm slow to reply to emails. I do apologise. Everybody knows me by now, though, don't they? But yes, HB, I shall certainly do that. If anybody's got any, suggestions, that's what the email's for. You can pop them over, can't you? Don't forget, this is a call-in show, so the numbers are on the screens there, rolling along merrily away, as one does. What have we got happening in the chat? Let's see here. Anybody new joined us that I've missed? Gosh, it's been busy, hasn't it, the chat? Look at all this lot. David Owens, welcome, David. Welcome and Happy New Year to you. Who else have we got? Several, lots of things here. As American Sugar Sandwich. Ooh, an American. Hello, America. Welcome. What else have we got? Oh, far too many. Ron. Hello, Ron. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Rob Lane. Hello there, Rob. Welcome and Happy New Year to everyone. And Maxley. Hello, Maxley, who says, "Her Eerie." Well met, and to my shame, I'm late. Never mind, Maxley. Welcome and Happy New Year to you as well. Now then, what weird things have happened on the new year? This got me thinking, and I found a couple of things. One that we've sort of touched on before on the channel, but it is a favourite of mine, so I will mention it again. And one that I haven't heard of. So apparently there is something called the Exeter UFO incident. Now, this is Exeter, New Hampshire, USA. And this actually happened on the 31st of December. Hello, Gabe. Welcome. Happy New Year to you. It happened on the 31st of December, 1965, apparently. So, in the early hours of December 31st, 1965, Exeter Police Officer Eugene Bertrand was on routine patrol when he received a call from a young woman living near Route 150 on the outskirts of Exeter, New Hampshire. The caller reported a large object hovering silently above her farmhouse. She was distressed but coherent, and her account was specific enough that Bertrand decided to investigate in person. When he arrived at the property, he found the woman visibly shaken. She repeated her claim. Something large had been moving above the trees near her home, emitting intense red lights, and doing so without any sound. As Bertrand stood outside the farmhouse with her, this object returned. Almost simultaneously, a second officer, David Hunt, arrived at the scene to provide backup. Above the tree line, at an altitude estimated to be well below that of any conventional aircraft, was a large, dark object clearly defined against the night sky. Along its underside were 5 bright red lights arranged in a straight horizontal line. The lights didn't flash randomly. They appeared to pulse in sequence, left to right with a steady rhythm. The object moved slowly and deliberately, drifting towards the officer's patrol car. As it passed overhead, both officers reported a distinct physical sensation, a feeling of pressure, accompanied by a low-frequency vibration, as though the air itself were being displaced. There was no engine noise, however. There was no rotor sound, no jet sound. The patrol car's headlights illuminated nothing beneath the craft, and it appeared to absorb light rather than sort of reflecting it. After hovering briefly, the object moved away at a controlled speed before accelerating smoothly and vanished into the distance. This incident became part of a wider wave of sightings in the area that winter, involving multiple civilian witnesses, and the case was formally investigated by Project Blue Book. Blue Book proposed explanations involving stars, planets, or military aircraft. Well, of course they did, didn't they? These explanations were rejected by the officers involved. They pointed out that celestial objects do not move across the sky at low altitude, do not pulse in structured sequences, and do not pass directly over police vehicles. Officer Hunt later stated that the sighting lasted long enough for careful observation and that he had never seen anything similar before or since. This occurred unambiguously very much over the New Year period, December the 31st of 1965, and remains one of the most robust police witness UFO cases in American records. Well, what do we think to that one? That's a New Year's thing. Does anybody out there know of any other cases that happened in over the New Year period? Because if you do, I'd like to know about them, you see. So you can pop those into the chat. If you want, you can email them to me. Or do you know what? You can ring up. You can call the show and you can tell us about them yourselves. The other one, which is a favourite of mine, was the Hopkinsville aftermath sightings, a.k.a. Hopkinsville goblins. Okay. Now, this one, I love this one. I love this story, really. By the end of 1955, the events at the Sutton farmhouse near Kelly, Kentucky were already widely known, okay? So if you don't know about this one, this is these little sort of goblin creatures that, according to witnesses, had these big ears and big yellow eyes and sort of silver bodies. They were shot at, and you know, they made a metallic sound when they were shot at and things like that. It's a crazy story and a really, really good one. However, in August of that year, members of the Sutton family had reported this prolonged encounter with these small things. They were luminous, right? Non-human entities around the home. It led to one of the biggest rural police responses in the history of Kentucky. And this was on, this was back end of 55. But in the early hours of January the 1st, 1956, it started again. Local police in Christian County received new calls from residents living near the property. So not members of the same family, but from living near the property, okay, and not members of the Sutton family. This is important. But these reports described very strange lights moving low over the same exact stretch of farmland associated with the incidents that were happening from August onwards. Witnesses also reported very unusual sounds near the tree line, and their livestock and their dogs were incredibly agitated. Deputies were dispatched to the area. This is New Year's Day. Upon arrival, there were no intruders to be found. No aircraft were visible in the area. No signs of trespass. No vehicles. No evidence of any conventional activity that could account for the reports. Okay. Police logs confirm that multiple calls were definitely received independently that same night, all describing the same sort of activity and all saying it was happening in the same location. However, the Sutton family themselves did not contact the police on that night. Investigators said this was significant because if the August and earlier year incidents had been the product of, you know, them hoaxing it, let's say, or the good old mass hysteria that they bring out, as critics did suggest, obviously, at the time, then there would be very little reason for unrelated residents to report similar disturbances months later and in the dead of winter and on New Year's Day. So no official explanation was offered for the January 1st sightings, whether it was just coincidental or whether it was a correlation, or whether, in fact, there was some definite link between the lights and the Hopkinsville goblins. Well, who's to say? But they were logged and they were investigated and quietly filed away. There were no claims of beings in this one. I mean, I think in the previous encounter, these little creatures fired weapons and things like that and crawled all over the house. But instead, this activity was very subtle, it was fleeting, and it was confined to lights and sounds and the very interesting animal reactions. So there's another one for you. That's a New Year's thing. And now I've been to Greece a couple of times, you know, in the last couple of years. Lovely place, really, really like it there. But I hadn't ever heard of the, and now am I going to butcher this, Kalikantzaros, the creatures that wait below. Okay, so across Greece and parts of the Balkans, there exists a peculiar entity, something that's kept at bay for most of the year. It isn't banished, it's not destroyed, it sort of just is delayed in this, I don't know, seemingly endless cycle. These beings are known as the Kalikantazori, or the Kalikantazoroi. I don't speak Greek. They are not spirits of the dead. They are not demons in the Christian sense. They belong to a very old category of being altogether. They don't haunt houses or fields, but they are interested in systems and structures and foundations. And this means, and according to the long-held belief, okay, the Kalikantzaroi spend most of the year beneath the earth, sowing endlessly at the World Tree. This is a enormous tree in the center of the earth, the axis that holds reality in place. Okay? Their task is simple, and it is obsessive. They must cut it down, collapse the order above, and let the world fall. According to the legends, they almost succeed. Almost. Every year. Just as the tree is about to give way, however, Christmas arrives. The birth of a divine being interrupts their work. The tree heals, the cuts vanish, and the Kalikantzaroi, furious and cheated once again, are forced upward into the human world for 12 nights between Christmas and Epiphany. And this is when they are seen. Descriptions vary, but the theme is consistent. Small, twisted humanoids, hairy, blackened, animal-limbed, with exaggerated features and a deeply human sense of spite. Some accounts describe hooves, others tails, others red glowing eyes. What matters is not the anatomy, of course, but it's their behaviour. They don't kill people, which you might consider, but they ruin things. They just really don't want us to have a good time up here. They sour milk. They spoil food. They damage tools. They whisper lies and unsettle households. Now, that gave me pause because at some point, and I believe it may have been the very first Eerie's Vault Live that we did, gosh, where was it? It was in some Scottish locale, and I've forgotten the chap's name. It is several months ago, but he told us about his father, I think, or his grandfather, near a golf course, just being confronted essentially by little people who looked like miniature crofters, I think, is what he said. And one of the little people was speaking to his father or grandfather and was telling him not to trust the other guy that he was with. And that bit there about whispering lies and unsettling households, that really got me thinking. Little people and what they were doing in that story. It's a good one. It's the first Eerie's Vault Live we did. I think it's on the compilation that I did, actually. Yeah, it's a long time ago, isn't it, Aching Plums? Quite some time ago now. Anyway, apparently these supercalifragilistics, whatever they're called, they lurk near fireplaces, they slip down chimneys, and in a lot of stories they speak, but like really badly, sort of a half-formed language, just insults and taunts and gibberish. They behave like intrusions. Traditionally, countermeasures are such things as burning incense, leaving fires lit all night, hanging sieves or colanders by the door, because they're said to be compulsive counters, these creatures, and they're unable to pass without obsessively counting the holes until dawn drives them away. This is not the behaviour of animal or ghost, is it? It's very intriguing, isn't it? At Epiphany, the Kalikantzaroi are forced back below ground. They return to this world tree, only to discover that all of their sawing and chopping has been undone, and this tree is full again, and the cycle just begins forever and ever and ever. And that reminds me of those little people. It really does. And also, it reminded me of something else. I'm just rereading it here that I've... oh, it's gone now. It does seem to me, however, that if they didn't ruin tools, they could nab themselves a few chainsaws and return back to the underground with a couple of chainsaws, and they'd have all the work done, what, in 5 minutes, something like that? Yeah, it'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? The YouTube show is only a part of the vault. Beyond the broadcast is the archive. And at eeriesvault.com you'll find our growing library of case files, first-hand accounts of the unexplained, written reports from people who lived through something strange. And we need yours. If you've carried a story for years, if you've never had the chance to put it into words, and this is where it belongs, your report will stand alongside others, building a record that may one day help us see patterns that we cannot see alone. And it's easy. Go to eeriesvault.com, open the Case Files page, and hit the Submit a Case button. Fill in the details and send it on its way. Because strange events pass quickly into silence unless someone records them. Don't let your story vanish. Put it in the vault. From the depths of the vault, this is Eerie's Vault Live. Every Friday at 9 p.m. GMT, the lines are open. UFOs, aliens, ghosts, strange creatures, time slips, encounters you cannot explain. If you've seen something unusual, if something has haunted you, followed you, or simply left you wondering, then this is your place to tell it. Call in and share your story. You can watch the show live on YouTube or stream it directly at eeriesvault.com. And if you're too shy to call, then you can email ahead of the show at eeriesvault@gmail.com, and I will read your story out for you on air. That's Eerie's Vault Live, Friday nights, 9 p.m. GMT. Be part of it. For those of you who want to go deeper, there is the Eerie's Vault Patreon. Here you'll find the evidence. Original newspaper clippings, forgotten publications, rare documents. You'll see the raw material behind the stories, and you'll gain access to exclusive videos, some filmed on location at the very places we discuss, and you'll be able to watch private follow-up videos to the cases already covered on the main channel. It's not just about watching here, it's about joining the search, and by supporting the vault, you help to keep the archive alive, help uncover more material, and help to bring these stories into the light. And if you've ever wondered what all these marks are on this map here, well, patrons get access to this interactive encounters map to peruse at their leisure. It gets updated regularly and will grow to be one of the most comprehensive encounters maps in the world. If you've ever wanted to be closer to the investigation, if you've ever wanted to see what lies behind the curtain, then Patreon is where it begins. And with numerous membership options, what are you waiting for? Head over to the vault. To take part in tonight's show, there are a number of options. You can send a message on WhatsApp, giving a brief outline of what it is you want to discuss, and then wait for my call back. Alternatively, for UK residents, you can call direct on 0141 673 3743 to join the call queue and get through to the live show. And for listeners in the US, you can also call on 929-673-3743. That's 929 Mr. Eerie. That's a New York City number. And if you're too shy to call, then you can always email eeriesvault@gmail.com with your story or your theory, whatever it is you want to talk about, and I can read it out for you on air and state. Remember, this is your show, and I am waiting for your call. Strange encounters, theories about the paranormal, questions about some of the cases I've covered on the channel, whatever it is, as long as it's weird, I want to hear it. Call now to be on Eerie's Vault Live. This is Eerie's Vault Live, and I am your host, Leon Eerie, and this is your number one stream for the weird, the strange, and the unexplained. That's right, the weird, the strange, and the unexplained. We were talking about superstitions earlier, and we all know about Unlucky Friday the 13th, right? That's one well-known superstition, isn't it? It's bad luck to walk under ladders, supposedly. That's another one. Breaking a mirror. Everybody knows that one, surely. You get 7 years of bad luck if you break a mirror. Look out, we've got a call coming in. Let me switch the screens and let me say good evening. You're on Eerie's Vault Live. Welcome.
Hello, Leon. How are you?
Hello, I am not too bad. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How are you? I'm glad to, everybody's like, Flo, were you in the chat? I'm like, no, I was away from my phone for a little bit, but I do have some interesting news. There has actually been an instance of paranormal activity in my house that I managed to hear for myself, if you want to know that story.
Oh, yes.
We're finally getting it. So the first thing I'm going to have to start with, I do have some sad news, is that my sister passed away on Boxing Day.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that, Flo.
And what happened was something that was quite interesting. She passed away at, I'd say, 5 minutes to 11. We think that's when she passed away. But just before we got the phone call to say, please come, she's fading. That's what they said to us. They didn't say she was passing, they said she was fading. I was on the phone to Wednesday, if anybody knows the stories that I told my niece Wednesday in them. Both me and Wednesday were on the phone, and we're just talking away. We're, chatting, discussing things, because, it's been Christmas, and my sister still wasn't well. And it was about 10 past 10, sometime around then. I'm saying about 10 past to 20 past 10. We were both talking, just again about what's going on. And I heard what sounded like somebody take a big intake of breath in my hallway. So I put the phone down and I just said to Wednesday, I think somebody's in the house. Stay on the line. If I tell you to call 999, call 999. So I went into the hallway, and I'm expecting an intruder. I'm expecting somebody's going to be in that hallway, because it was a very loud intake, like a
right, I see.
And I'm looking everywhere. There's nobody in the house. The dog, obviously, he heard it. And I'm saying to Wednesday, did you hear that loud intake of breath from the hallway? Because I certainly heard it. It was loud enough that I heard it, and this time the dog heard it. So I ended up, saying to Wednesday, I think I've just heard a spook. She's scared. She's scared to go. So I'm kind of like 50-50 at this point, whether not to be scared. So I put the phone down and I'm sitting there going, I have literally just heard something really weird that I can't explain. And I'm going, oh, this is going to be an interesting thing for when Liam comes back from Christmas.
Yeah.
And within 15 minutes, we got the call to say that my sister was fading and we had to get to her immediately. We got there and sadly she'd passed. But when I later on spoke to family, they all said, yeah, we sensed something or we heard something. My sister felt like a pull in her stomach. My niece said she felt really shivery. I heard the sigh. We think it might have been when my sister taking her last breath. I like to think that she was doing that. I like to think it was. Because we didn't get there in time, sadly. She'd passed before we got there.
You think it may have been, yeah, you like to think that it was just her connecting one last time.
Yeah. I like to think it was, but that's, again, I have no explanation for it because, I don't think you have anybody go into the hallways and the hallway just goes like that. It doesn't. But apart from that, it's been fairly quiet in the house. I've not had any other paranormal activity as such except that one, which I wish that I'd been able to switch to my tablet to the phone to record that because it was really weird. Really, really weird.
And the timing of it, yeah.
Yeah, the timing, because I was, again, by the time we got there, I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, I heard that sigh at this time. And then 15 minutes later, we got that call. So maybe she'd passed earlier and they just couldn't get through to us.
Yeah, who knows?
Just very weird. But apart from that, there's not been really much interesting happened paranormal-wise in the house. But I do have some stories, but I will leave it for another time. But I just thought it's an interesting little...
It is, considering you don't normally experience the things in that house,
No,
Yeah.
No. Like I said, everybody else has seen things. I've not seen them, but that size just made me think, maybe my sister was like, I'm going to come back to your house, I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to tell you. Because she always kind of joked, she said, if anything happens, I'll come back to haunt you.
Did she?
Well, I don't know. I'm certainly hope she doesn't. I'm hoping she actually does rest in peace.
Yes, of course. Yes, yeah. Well, my condolences at Fleur, certainly. Now, just before you go, how's that little dog?
Oh, he's doing really well. He's now 5 months old.
Oh.
And he's doing really well. He's had his injections and he's just had his first what we call the big boy cut.
Yes.
Did really well. But apart from that, I can't think of any other stories of now, but
that's all right. You've got plenty in you. I know you have. And I accept my condolences. And I know.
It's just remembering them at this time.
Yeah.
I do have actually a couple, but I'm going to leave them for another time because at this moment I'm exhausted.
Yes, of course you are. Yeah, just conserve your energy, and all of that. But thank you for your call and my condolences,
Thank
Fleur.
you. And again, as always, Liam, thank you for having me on. It's been really great to talk to you again.
Yes.
And audience and everything else. I'll let you go. And also, I've been very interested in listening to your story about the mince pies being stolen.
Yeah, wasn't it good?
I must have felt like, why would you steal mince pies? Why not steal a Christmas cake?
Yeah, I want to know if they ate them and what they thought of them, because that's a divisive topic, mince pies.
But also, I've never actually heard of aliens actually having wings, and that's new on me.
Yes, I don't know if the illustrations in the video quite gave the right impression. They looked rather childlike in the video. I'm not an artist. I need help with the art. But apparently they were rather more grey, like that look like a grey than the images portrayed, and rather more sinister. But it is what it is, and it's the story, isn't it? So it was I
Yeah,
enjoyed the story. I did.
I did. I just was listening, just laughing my head off, going, "You think that they come for like Christmas presents or the Christmas tree?" They're like, "Oh no, we'll just have these. Taste good, nom nom."
Yeah. Well, of course
it's like when
Of course, they wanted the fairy on top of the trees. And the first thing they did, to people who haven't seen the video yet, these, I guess we're going to call them aliens, right? With wings, came into this woman's house at Christmas, and they essentially kidnapped the fairy from the top of the tree. That's the first thing they went for, because I assume that thing had wings on it as well. Maybe they saw a little of themselves in the tree. Who knows?
do you think rather than them being aliens, you think they were some kind of fairy? Because when I was listening to it, I'm like, that sounds kind of like things that a fairy would do. I mean, it's sort of like, don't fairies kind of like sweet things?
Yeah, and they seemed mischievous, didn't they? They were jumping up and down on her sofa and all of that. It's just that the orange sphere that appeared seemed like a craft of some description, but who knows, really?
Yep, it's all I know is I hope they had a good Christmas, but they
There plenty of brandy in the mints. I'm sure they did.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of brandy. Maybe they were like, "Oh, I can get drunk now."
Yeah.
Oh dear. Again, Eerie, Liam. I keep calling you Mr. Eerie, and then I keep calling you Liam. What do you prefer?
That's all right. I don't mind. Leon's fine.
Yeah. But Liam, thank you very much for having me.
Not at all.
I will I'll try and think more that I could have been through, because there's still a lot, and
Yes.
I've got to remember them.
Not a problem.
But
thank you for your call, Fleur. Thank you. All
Liam.
right.
Take care.
Cheerio then.
Have a nice day.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There you are. You see, it's that easy. It's that easy to call up and have a chat to me about stuff, isn't it? Conversation in the chat about the Patterson-Gimlin film. Oh, yes, that's my wheelhouse. Certainly it is. I'm looking forward to... I must reply, actually, to the email for the two... researchers who are going to talk to us about Bigfoot on the show. Here's another call. Good evening. You are on Eerie's Vault Live. Welcome.
Hello, Mr. Eerie. It's Ian Parkin here again.
Hello, Ian. Welcome. Happy New Year to you.
Same to you and all. Yes, indeed. Yes, well, I've got another one that I've dragged out of my memory. And yeah, it's this one's a more ghostly one than the
Okay.
last one.
Right. Hit us with it. Let's have it.
Right. It's an apparition whilst house hunting.
Oh.
And this would be circa July, August 1977. My ex-wife and me were house hunting in Bristol. We had looked at 2 properties in the Hanham area of the city and had reached the 3rd property the agent had lined up for us. Now, this property had been owned by a Spanish bachelor whom the agent's rep told us had passed whilst at home. And as we were being shown around, it wasn't hard to see that he had made alterations to turn the interior into that of a Spanish casa. And after having explored the downstairs rooms, we were about to go upstairs. Now, in keeping with the Spanish theme, it was necessary to climb up via a ladder. And at this point, my ex was asking the agent's rep some questions about the downstairs. So I climbed up the rungs on my own. At the top was a trapdoor leading into the main bedroom. I reached the top rung and stepped off onto the bedroom floor. I then moved forward a short way toward the window and turned around. At that moment, I heard a sound like the chirps of sparrows, but also reminiscent of small bells. This then faded away, and as it did so, I began to feel dizzy, and the room appeared to darken. I was now feeling quite faint, and as I struggled to stay conscious, I noticed a violet-purple glow coming from the area in front and to the right of the trapdoor. Looking down, I saw the outline of a man laid in a fetal position, and that the glow was coming from said outline. Looking closer, I could see that he was fully clothed and wearing a peaked cap. All this, as a guesstimate, took around 5 minutes. The stated conditions were still active as my ex appeared at the top of the ladder, saying something to me. As this happened, the room brightened and the outline and glow disappeared, along with my faintness. My ex and the rep were now fully in the room. Excuse me. And at this point, I began to think that I may have seen the deceased. As I did not know where the erstwhile occupant was found, I asked the rep as to where this was, and you can imagine my thought as she pointed to the exact spot where I saw the apparition.
Gosh, the exact... goodness me, it sounds like they broke some sort of spell that was happening, when they walked into the room.
Yes. Indeed. Well, I thought about the sound of the birds and the bells at the beginning, and that sort of reminds me of seances. When the spirits are, broadcasting their presence, if you like, and are about to appear.
I see. Yes, yes. I never thought of that. I was trying to think what castanets, isn't it, for Spanish people? But yeah. So, do you think that's what it was?
Well, I think so. Yes, I do think that it may well have been. Yeah.
And of course, you originally on your first call, you introduced the concept of, oh gosh, what's it called now? The
Oz factor.
That's it, Oz factor. Yeah. So do you think there was some Oz factor that was disturbed by the agent coming into the room?
Well, yes, I think that's very likely. Yeah, I think it would have been that sort of a bubble again.
Mm.
And that when my ex and the agent appeared, obviously it broke it up. It broke the spell, if you like.
Mm. If you want to speculate on what might have occurred had they not, I wonder how much. It makes you think, how much further would these things go?
Yes, that's an interesting question, isn't it? I mean, would I have received some sort of communication? Or something like that. Some
great knowledge, or don't buy this one. It's got rotten foundations, or something like that.
Yes, yeah. To warn me of something.
Exactly, yeah. Or don't look under the third floorboard on the right, because I've hidden something there. Yeah, it fascinates me. Why then? Why decide? I wonder if they do decide to appear.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? I mean, it brings up the whole question of sort of afterlife consciousness.
That's it. Decision making and free will and all of that.
Yes, indeed, yeah. And just how far does it go?
Yeah. And what's the purpose?
How much can you actually transmit, and how long do you have to do it?
Do you have a little window to... Is it energy? Because, of course, there's a whole... What's the... Entropy, is it? Everything's just losing energy all the time. And
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Entropy, yeah. How much do you have? How much time do you have before... Oh, God, these are philosophical questions, aren't they? How much time do you have before you become the next thing that you become? Goodness me.
Well, indeed, yes. I mean, and often, you do get that in some sort of these sorts of cases, where they do actually say that my time is limited.
Yeah.
And I don't have. So I need to get this message to you now. Maybe they could be talking about, perhaps Terran essence, if you like, is actually slipping away.
Yes, yeah.
And they don't have a long time to actually be able to put things over. And if they start to move on to some other state.
Yeah, and the fact that they're aware of that is intriguing to me.
Yes, indeed, yeah. I mean, do they get told it by some other entity? Or
Yeah, how do they find out? Is there an induction? I mean, how does it work? You know?
Yes, I thought, yeah. Well, interestingly, there, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I once did read a case of this where this medium had received communications, and they told him about what happened to them, and they did say that it was like a school. You know, they were taken to a classroom and they were taught all about what was going to happen.
Wow.
But I can't remember what it was. I'll have to look it up, see if I can find it.
Sort of orientation for the dead, goodness.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and also about the fact that they were given jobs as well. They were.
Really?
Yes, they were given jobs.
Can you remember which jobs got dished out?
Well, I think it was something to do with some people were put on receiving new spirits into the other world.
Yeah.
And various things like that. And some's helping other spirits to meet their loved ones who've already passed and things like that.
Oh, sort of reconnecting them. Gosh.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Goodness me, you can unpeel this onion forever, can't you?
You can, yes, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, see if you can find that and pass it on, or tell us about it sometime. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen, the Spanish casa, did you call it?
Casa, yes.
Yeah.
Casa.
With a haunting and a bit of Oz factor thrown in. Ian, thank you very much for the call.
No problem. Yes, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheerio. Thank you very much. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
There we are. Now, I know some other people were trying to call in there at the same time. The phone system only handles one call at a time. So if somebody else is talking, then I cannot answer. However, I can answer this one that's coming in now. Good evening. You're on Eerie's Vault Live. Welcome.
Good evening, Leon. I'm Andrea. Dingbuck.
Hello. How's the head?
It's a little sore, and I've got to admit, it's the migraine was brought on by the testing of the slow gin, so it's partially self-inflicted. I'm so sorry.
Never mind.
Okay, I'm horribly shy when talking in person, and I've been slung out of the bedroom, and I'm in the kitchen freezing, so it might be a quick call for you.
That's fine. You do what you can manage. That's what I say.
All right, thank you. I've had a lot of high strangeness occur throughout my life. I think the weirdest thing has got to have been Dogman 3 times.
Oh.
Once when I was age 15, and I lived just up from the Metal Bridge Inn, which is on the border of Scotland and Cumbria. And one day I was supposed to pick a goat up, collect it and take it home. Cause I lived on what I suppose you'd call a homestead.
Oh, I'm glad you explained that, because that in itself was unusual.
I know.
I just had to pick a goat up.
I thought I'd better explain
myself.
Yeah. So it was just for the small holding she was, but she'd been taken during the early hours of the morning. I was on my fell pony, and I had our rescue dog with us. And this was at Todd Hills. If anybody who knows the area would know where Todd Hills and the Metal Bridge Inn are. And it was in the middle of summer, so there wasn't very much, apart from the odd bit of hair on what you call barbed wire fencing stuff to follow. Luckily, my dog was quite well trained for following things, and we got just over the river into Scotland, and I found what was left of the goat halfway up like an overgrown hawthorn bush. It had been
Okay.
part of a hedgerow one time. Yeah, part of a hedgerow, and about 12 feet up. Not any of the meat had been touched, just the internal organs, which I believe is what big cats would and things would normally get and eat first. But only leopards will tree their prey. The other big cats tend not to. The next thing I know, my very calm fell pony had pinned his ears back and decided to take us out of the area.
I wasn't happy,
My
right?
dog, he was not happy at all. And he was used to going, he was bomb-proof basically. We were used to riding along the dual carriageway there. Nothing scared him, but no, he took off. My dog, I think, was basically leading the way. He was a Doberman cross Rottweiler who we'd rescued. He'd been what they call a yard dog.
Okay.
So he wasn't really frightened of much. So this kind of bothered me a bit.
Sure.
We made it about 1.5 miles up the road, came to a farmer, they let me ring the police, and the police said a dog had done this.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know that many tree climbing dogs.
No, I couldn't name one.
Yeah, I believe the Bisenjai can, but I don't think we had many of those about. And to be quite honest, I did hear a growling, and it came from something that was a lot bigger than my Doberman cross.
And do the Basenji not have? Don't they not have vocal cords or something silly like that? Aren't they a very quiet?
I believe that they tend to yodel.
Okay.
Rather than growl or bark. Yeah, they call it singing, but I suppose like a husky sings. Yeah. So that was the first instance. I didn't gab eyeballs on it that time.
Yeah.
But after I got home, I started hearing my name being called.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, and we lived out near 14 MU, and we had no other houses round us. This could happen in the middle of the day, the afternoon. I used to walk that road. There was no lighting. At 3 o'clock in the morning on my way home from my friend's house. So that was a bit odd. It was always either my mother or my sister's voice, never my dad's nor my brother's. So
was it sort of?
was that.
How was it? How was it sort of said? Was it coaxing or was it just said?
It was my family's nickname for me.
Oh goodness!
Which nobody outside my family knew.
Right.
Because my brother could never say my name, Andrea. See. So it was Aya.
Okay.
And it was always sort of an urgent call, like my mother or my sister wanting me to help them.
Gosh.
So that used to make the hair on the back of the neck stand up.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And then, crikey, I was in my 30s the next time and this is when I saw one. I don't know whether or not it was the same animal, but the same individual animal, but it was definitely a dog man.
Gosh.
I'm only really telling you stuff that I have other witnesses for, you see.
I see. Right, yeah.
Other people. I used to have trouble with insomnia, so I'd walk around Rickaby Park and Bitts Park near Carlisle, just to kill the time because I didn't have a television and things. And one time I had my three friends with me. Something climbed down out of one of the big old trees there, and it came down head first, a bit like it must have had some weird joints to its front paws, its hands. They were hands. It came down head first. Now, my friends were better runners than me. But yeah, it gave me, because I've got a connection with animals. I suppose I'm good with animals. And I was just getting sort of a mental image of, or a feeling that you humans have this place all day. It was a resentment kind of thing.
Really?
You get the place all day, most of the evening, morning. This is my time, you know, off-ski. And I off-skied then. I drew a picture of it. And without telling anybody what it was, a friend of mine walked in and he goes, "Oh," he said, "that looks like the thing that walked me out of Rickaby Park the other night."
No.
That was
Gosh.
a fourth person.
Do you still have the picture?
The drawing, I think that one was bought eventually.
Oh.
I don't have it. I could probably redo it. Not as well as the first time. I've got peripheral neuropathy with my hands, but I could probably still do a pretty good rendition. This kind of looked more, it was like a hyena.
Right.
Which is really weird because
it is.
The way it came down the tree was very nimble and fluid. There was none of this tracking or popping or anything. And it got onto the ground and then stood up. And I think it was just the fact that it was so incongruous that just, I froze.
Yeah, just should not have been in that environment. Yeah.
Absolutely not. And I think, especially when it stands up on its hind legs.
And how tall was it, do you think?
I'm 5'6", and so that would have been about 6 foot, 6.5 feet.
Wow, it's pretty big.
Oh yes, that's. I say sometimes in my comments I've got a healthy yellow streak. It's kept me alive till now. So I more or less overtook my friends. It was funny, we got to what they call the suspension bridge in Rickaby Park. And as soon as we were halfway over that, we all relaxed. We felt like it's no longer bothering us, not going to chase us.
Yeah,
and we looked back and it had gone. Sorry?
Once you were out of its territory, like you say.
That's it. There was a real stinking resentment about humans taking over the land, and they've got it all the day, most of the morning, most of the evening, and yeah. And the last time I saw one, I lived on Warwick Road opposite Our Lady in St. Joseph's Church, and I'd heard howling from one side around about 2:45 in the morning, and howling from the Rickaby Park side, and I thought, that's not a dog. That's not a dog, that sounds more like a wolf. And my own dog, Jasper, he's a support assist dog. So he's usually pretty steady.
Right, yeah.
He got onto the bed. Yeah, he flattened himself out, hiding behind me. And the next thing, it was in February, and it was a very cold, clear night. I'm not sure if it was a full moon. It may have been waxing gibbous, waning gibbous, somewhere along. There was enough moonlight to see the church roof opposite. And at first I thought it was a big cat climbing along the roof very nimbly.
Gosh, it sounds terrifying.
Well, yeah, it wasn't too bad until it actually looked up my window and looked right through the window at me.
Oh my God! Right.
And that's what my dog wet to the bed, and he's never done that before or since. He was doing this very low rumbling in his chest, but when it got its eyeballs on me, he stopped growling and he just peed the bed next to me.
God.
Poor little soul. He's a brave lad. He's not even frightened of other dogs or horses, anything.
Yeah.
He's used to me having wildlife in and out of the house, but this scared him. And I did feel like it was taking the measure off me.
Wow.
You see what I mean? It was looking right into me.
Sizing you up, as it were.
It was very much a sentient being.
Yeah, and that's frightening, isn't it? I mean, that's more frightening than it just being a dog man thing.
Yeah, I guess. I tend to look at all animals as being sentient beings.
Yes.
Most of them are look brighter than we give them credit for, you know. But this one was really summing me up. It was looking into me. Anything, and it was like having somebody knowing you. It was uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And that was in 2017. I haven't seen one since.
Good. I must say, good. Was this one the same sort of shape as the one that crawled head first down the tree?
Actually, no. And this is why I thought it was a big cat initially. This one was much leggier.
Right.
And longer and skinnier. I'd say, like it looked fit and healthy, but when people are very slim but very athletic, what's the word for that?
Yeah.
Well, it was like that. It had a much longer tail, and it was using that to balance with as it was walking along. It was sort of doing hand over hand, because the very top of the church roof where it was climbing along has got these, what do you call it? I don't know. They're like tiles that stick up.
Okay, yeah.
So it was very, very deftly putting it sort of hand over hand, and it knew where to put the back legs as well, the back feet.
Wow.
But it had a much longer snout as well, and thinner in the face, yeah.
And did you get a good look at the teeth?
Fortunately, my eyesight's not that good.
So you didn't, you don't have that extra horrific detail.
I don't know. I don't think it grinned at me, because I think I might have noticed that, but it did look dead into my window.
Oh my!
It looked right at me, and I was lying in the bed at the back of this bed sit at the time. I've since moved house, thank goodness. And yeah, so that was that.
Do you think there's a correlation between hearing your nickname and these creatures? Do you think there's something connection there?
I got the feeling that there was, because having my name called didn't happen. Hearing that didn't occur until the very next day after I'd found the remains of the goat in that old bit of hawthorn. It had once been a hedge, but when they rip most of the hedge out and just leave one or two of the trees. It's sheep country,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And it was almost immediately after that. The next day, in the afternoon, I heard my name being called, and I looked around, and I realized, my sister's in Hull. She was at Hull University, you see.
Oh, okay.
Then it used my mother's voice to call me. Mum usually if she was shouting on me and needed something done, well, she wasn't usually quite as pleasant as that. So I found it disconcerting.
Yes, I would have done too.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
I was just about to say it's been lovely speaking to you. I don't want to take up any more of your time.
It certainly has. The fantastic encounters, really. And it's something I would have expected to have heard about before now, is Dogman. But I think you're the first to actually discuss it on air. And twice as well. Gosh.
Three times altogether, but the first time I didn't see it.
Ah, yes, of course.
It just got the goat that I was collecting. So I was small holding. Yeah.
So you just let him have it, right? I would have done too.
I wasn't going to argue with it.
No.
I just thought we'll leave it there. If the farmer decides he needs that out of the tree, he can deal with it.
Of course, yeah. Somebody else's problem, right?
Yeah. Well, I hadn't paid for it yet.
Okay.
So I just thought, Not that I did actually pay for it eventually, but at that point I hadn't, and I just thought, well, if the police think that's a bother, they can take it down. But
yes,
they were actually faster at getting away from the area than I was.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, something I don't want to experience myself, I have to say.
That's it. I don't think I'd fancy it now, because with being a bit older, I don't have quite the turn of speed that I used to have.
Yes, that's it, isn't it? How do you get yourself out of a situation? I know exactly what you mean.
Oh, you make sure that your partner's slower and you've got bacon strapped to his shoes, and then you make sure he's got hobbles on.
That's it, and then you can go for it. That's right. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
Well, Andrea, thank you very much for the call.
Okay.
Took some psyching up, I think, but well done.
It did indeed. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you very much for everybody who's encouraged me. I've got a few more encounters that I'll come back.
Thank you. Yes, let's hear more.
About. Yeah, I wanted to pass my condolences to Fleur.
Yes.
I'm very sorry she lost somebody, especially over the Christmas period.
Yeah.
That's very sad. Okay, then. I got your name right.
Leon.
Almost.
Yeah, almost.
Leon.
It's fine.
I'm sorry.
It's a weird name, so it's fine. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. So's my actual name. My surname as well. That's why I use Dingbat.
Ah, right. I see. I can pronounce that. It's easy to pronounce. Yeah. Well, again, Andrea, thank you very much. Thank you so much. All right.
Okay, Pet. Good night.
Cheerio.
Thank you very much indeed.
Not at all. You
Cheerio.
too. Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Well, what do we think about that, guys and gals? Dogman in the UK. I could just picture that thing crawling down the tree head first. Do you know, that image that I got reminded me of an episode of what I believe was Sasquatch Chronicles, I think, some time ago. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched Sasquatch Chronicles. Is that the Wes Germer one, is it? And there was an account where a guy had seen what he said was Bigfoot, all right, but it was crawling around the outside of a house in the middle of nowhere. And I don't mean scaling it. It was moving like a spider would, crawling around the outside of the house. And that just made me think of that same imagery right there. Gosh. Excellent call. Thank you ever so much for that one. I've got a couple of WhatsApp things that I need to get through before we finish, because we're getting there now. This is from our friend Dingley Dell, who says, Leon, my father passed away recently and recalled this tale is from many years ago when my children were young. The wife and I had decided to go out on a Saturday night and my parents offered to babysit the kids. Anyway, we arrived at home just after 11 and after exchanging notes, off they went home. The next day, my mother related over the phone that on their way home in the car, they were travelling down a steep bank which dissects a Dean, and this guy in a white shirt ran out in front of them, and my dad, who was driving, was convinced they'd hit him, as was mother. So they stopped the car, and Dad came back and checked the grass verges and surrounding area with no success, thankfully. Both then assumed it was a spectre or ghost. It's an area where a lot of people have, unfortunately, lost their lives in road incidents over many decades. Thank you for that one, Dingley Dell. A phantom running out in front of the car. There are so many stories like that in UK law and in the UK archives. There really are. Thank you for that one, Dingley Dell. John, if you are around still from A Twisted Mind, why don't you take us into the last 4 minutes before we finish? Let's give you a call. Let's see if John's still about. I can't believe how quickly the time has gone tonight. Hello, good evening and welcome and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Mr. Leon Eerie. How are you?
And very well, thanks. Yourself? Good.
Yeah. It is what it is, mate. Yeah.
It is.
Quietest New Year and Christmas I've ever had.
They're good sometimes.
Years,
they're good. They're good to have quiet ones sometimes.
Yeah.
There. What have you got for us? Can you make it last 3 minutes?
Yeah, I can make it very, very quick. I'll just rattle it off. Yeah.
Over to you.
Yeah. Oh, hi. Are we live? Can I continue?
You can, yes, you can.
Okay. Basically, I got in late. Tuned in because I love your show. Love everybody on it. Great people. Keep it brief. Superstition is what it's all about tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a new superstition amongst my friends and family and ex-school friends and ex-band members. I came back from Ireland, back to England in 2015 and started getting into music again.
Yeah.
Bumped into school friends I haven't seen since I was like 11, 12, 13 years old. Bumped into all sorts of people, which is brilliant news. Brilliant news. But the unfortunate thing is, prior to 2015, I've just had family members, the odd person here and there that have died. But unfortunately, my marriage went belly up, and I came back to England and gave up on my marriage and concentrated on music. I bumped into an awful lot of people, and I've been back in England for a couple of years at that point, 2013. And in all that time, come 2016, this is a shocking, horrible thing. I can joke about it now because it's weird, high strangeness. But the fact is, 2016, 2015, 16 onwards, on my personal Facebook account and on the band page, I put up photographs. Oh, Stuart Collier, great musician, went to Spain, created a school of rock. Marvellous chap. Went to school with him. We got in trouble with the police when we were school kids. But to cut it down, because you said to me, keep it quick. This is a horrible thing. 2016. I think it got to 8, 9, 10, 11 friends of mine. They all died. They all died within 3 years.
Gosh.
They all died within 3 years. And the sad thing is, every single one of them, some I hadn't seen for like 10 years, some I hadn't seen for like 8 years, or since I was 11 years old, 13, 15 years old, or whatever. And this is a terrible thing. Prior to them dying, this is superstition, and this is like an in-joke amongst my family and friends, is for God's sake, don't have your photograph taken with Johnny.
Oh, my goodness, right. Yes, I wondered where you were going to land with it, but yeah.
Yeah, because no, I mean, like I explained to you the situation with my ex-girlfriend and the weirdness in the bedroom, and the ex-friend that visited me, that visited her.
Yeah.
In the night that she saw. It's just high strange and stuff. Anyway, I'll shut up. I think all these things are connected.
You do, yes. Yeah, you keep mentioning this connection of everything. Yet I'm quite certain that it's not because they had their photos taken with you, however. But
you had a really great caller on last week who was very educated, and he was he obviously knew what he was talking about. And he was talking about physics and so on. I think everything lies in physics. Anything that can't be explained, ghosts, supernatural, blah, 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 Bigfoot, they all overlie. There's too many coincidences,
Yeah, I think there is a great connection somewhere, but it's beyond us at the moment, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's beyond us at the moment, but the curtain keeps sliding back.
That's right. That's a good way to put it, actually. That curtain keeps moving. Just the needle keeps moving just a little bit. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, in the old days, if anyone brought anything up, they were just deemed as being a lunatic.
Yeah.
You were hospitalised. You were just denigrated. You were just made fun of.
That's right.
Or you were touched by the hand of God.
Yes.
But the more we know, the more that happens, the more is being made sense of.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and it means we can have conversations about it for 2 hours on a Friday, and we don't have to worry about it. John, we've hit the limit.
Yeah.
I've got to go, my friend. But thank you ever so much for the call.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Eerie, and love and happy New Year to everyone listening and everyone involved. All right, mate.
And to you. Thank you very much. Cheerio then.
Last note.
Yes.
I will shut the F up.
Yeah.
is that all my friends dying, I actually went on the town in Brighton, my ex-muse, and I walked from the Dome in Brighton to the train station, had a drink in every single pub. This is superstition and strangeness.
Uh-huh.
The weird thing is I went to the first pub, and you can't get Beamish anymore in England, but it was this festooned in paraphernalia to do with Beamish and Guinness.
Okay.
Well, I lived in Ireland. I know Beamish.
Yeah.
So as I sat down, I thought, oh, Jesus, we buried Rick 2 months ago. He loved the Pogues. He never went to Ireland. He was my best mate. He loved a pint of Beamish.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got Beamish. I'll have a pint of that.
Yeah.
Went to the next pub. Stephen Wayne Percy, guitarist of Valkyrie. He was a hero of mine, local legend. He was a good friend. He liked this. And I drank in every single bar because I was very melancholic. Between the Dome and the train station, I was drinking every single bar. Every single bar I went in, I was on my own. I said goodbye to the on-off girlfriend, and I was drinking every single bar. And every single bar I went into, they had something that you don't see in other bars that reminded me of my dead friends.
Yeah, there you go.
When I got on the train to go back home to Chichester, I had these words come into my head, and I wrote a song called "Let Me In." And it took me 5 minutes to write. I had the lyrics down, the whole structure of my song in my head before the train went off.
Wow, isn't that great?
There you go.
Yeah.
I think my friends were calling to me because they knew I was saying hello to them.
Sounds
and I'll
like
shut up now.
Sounds like it. Thank you very much, sir. And
Cheerio,
we'll
bye.
see you next time. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Mr. Eerie. Bye, Liam.
And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of another Eerie's Vault live. We have hit the time that I tend to turn into a pumpkin. So we shall be off skis. Thank you ever so much. Now, I do have to say, Happy New Year, of course. I have to drop the lives back to every 2 weeks, I'm afraid, for the time being. So the next one, oh gosh, will not be on the 9th. It will be on the 16th. Okay, I'll put reminders up on the channel as well. So it'll be on the 16th, not on the 9th, because I have to do these for a while, every second week. Okay. Thank you again to all our callers, everybody who's emailed, everybody who's WhatsApped in, everybody who has been brave and given us a chat. I appreciate all of you so much. And of course, all you people in the chat beavering away there. Thank you all so much for making the show what it is. And of course, Happy New Year. I've said it quite a few times, but I mean it. Let's have a Happy New Year, shall we? That's it from me. We're back on the 16th. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.